the CSS Backlight Effect that StackBlitz tweeted out the other day. It's pretty cool, but I'm going to show you how to take it a step further, and I promise this is really cool. So the way that this works is you have an after pseudo element on your element, and it relies on it having a background image. So it only works with background images, and it creates an after element which inherits the background image. So you're essentially duplicating the element, and then you put a blur on that, and it will blur the actual image behind it, and you get this kind of cool blur that sort of follows the colors of it. Well, you can take it a little step further, and you can put a transform scale of 2 on that, and that immediately, boom, brings it up a little bit more, and it's a little bit more pronounced. But you can also do things like pop a brightness on there, and you can up it a little bit, and you can even use like a hue rotate, like a 90 degrees or something like that, and you can find some complementary colors that'll work with whatever logos you're working on. Really cool effect, but it only works with background images, right? You can't use it with a video, you can't use it with anything else, but I'm going to show you how you can actually make it work. So here I have on the page, I've got a video of me, and I've got 4 actual image tags on there. Now this can be literally any element on your page, doesn't need to be a background image. Then in my CSS, you'll see I have a filter of blur and scale, and that is giving me a URL with a hash. What that references is an SVG filter that it can be applied to it. So filters are not just limited to what you can use in CSS, you can also use SVG filters. So go to my document here, and we see SVG filter called blur and scale. And first of all, I take a Gaussian blur and crank it up by 20. So if I could make that 50, and you could see immediately it just goes really, really wide, or I can make it 10 and it makes it really, really tight. So I think 20 is pretty good. Then I take the saturation of color matrix filter here, and I take in the blurred one that we previously blurred, and I crank up the saturation on that to look a little bit more nice. So if I just had a 1, you see it doesn't really look all that nice, but if I crank that up to like something like a 10, it's extremely saturated. So I think about a 5 or something like looks pretty good. And then finally, watch what happens if I do that by normal. That's I'm blurred, help me. But I use a composite filter here that takes in the source graphic, which is the DOM element that is being painted, and we give it an operator of over, meaning that we are painting the source graphic on top of all of the blurring and saturation that we just did. If you take a look at this video here now, watch the corners of it, you can see that the corners are picking up the colors of this pillow, right? And we can crank it up even further, right? Let's do 15 saturation just to make it very, very clear. And maybe we'll do 30 standard deviation, 40, all right? You can almost see the actual pillow picking up the different colors around it. Pretty nifty effect. Love you. Bye.